Welcome back to Well Ones Podcast, episode 99. Not quite 100. This is the show where we chat about bike stuff. I am Jimmy, and today I am joined by Francis CADE.
Hey.
And producer Emily.
Hello.
And thanks to Garmin for supporting the podcast and helping us to bring you shows like this for free.
So I would ask how you both are this week, but I'm expecting it's going to be no different from last week because we are, in fact, recording this in advance straight after last week's episode. So hello from the past.
I feel more full as
you?
I ate the leftover pizza from last night.
I will second that. I did the same. We ate pizza.
Yes, we
and
did.
now we are in a carb slump.
You microwave yours. Was that the move? Should I have done that?
I don't know. I didn't have a cold one.
I actually tried it cold, then tried it hot. It was slightly more flavourful hot, but lacked in texture. So it's
6 and 2 3s.
both were okay. So we won't be covering any news this week. So if anything big does happen in the world of cycling, you're just going to have to pretend it doesn't. We'll pick it up.
I can guess
On
what the
average.
news would be.
Go on.
A World Tour bike team will have all of their bikes stolen and some tech will be released, and it's the first iteration. It's probably not going to be very good on crowdfunding.
And a new bike will come out that's 8 watts faster than something.
8.5. Usually, yeah, isn't it? Measured at 70k an hour.
But it'll have 38mm tyre clearance.
2x15.
2x15. 3x will make a return.
So first up, reading over the emails in preparation for this week's show, one from a listener called Pascal caught my eye. So he recently pre-ordered Visma Lisa Bike's special edition Giro d'Italia jersey and bibs. And this was like a special black and pink design to commemorate Simon Yates' win. £75 for the jersey plus postage. But he says... Wait, did you say it wasn't bad or it was bad?
Not bad. Well, we were just last episode we were looking at a Rafa jersey that was 175 quid or something.
95.
195 quid.
Yeah. When it arrived, though, he says it looked nothing like most of the photos on the website. He says out of 7 product photos used in the shop's advertising, only 1 actually matched the jersey I received. Most of the pictures showed a version with a lower neckline, which is what I wanted. The one I got had a high neckline, different sleeve material, and just looked nothing like the product in the majority of the photos. I had a look at this and I can tell you, Pascal, the reason it doesn't look the same is because all of the ones of the team in the kit, it isn't a jersey. They're all wearing skin suits, which is a full-length suit.
Except for the mock-up, which is really, it's very convincing. It looks real, but it's the same base template that everyone uses, which they probably found on Google and then just played with it on Adobe to make it look like that.
He says on top of that, the fit is completely off. The jersey is tight across the shoulders and chest, but loose around the belly. Feels more like casual sportswear. The bib straps are noticeably longer than his other kit from Atticus, Santini, Castelli, Assos, etc. For something marketed as a special edition replica race kit, it's really not comparable to what I, as a fan, would expect. Not sending it back, though, because it looks cool.
See, I don't have a problem with them selling a jersey that isn't a skin suit, but get your product descriptions right. Make it clear. You know, at the end of the day, if you want to sell something to someone, let them know what they're buying.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they're not an e-commerce setup. Do it properly or don't do it at all.
Agreed. A fluff up on their part, I would say.
Definitely.
The way he described the fit of that jersey, it sounds exactly like the one we purchased from AliExpress, which was a fake RCC kit. Do you remember that video?
Oh, yes. That was some time ago.
Baggy belly, really long bib straps, super high collar.
Yeah.
And it said Rafa Cycling Club.
Club. Yes.
No, that was the real one. Sorry, forgot.
Maybe in the previous episode where we talked about the Rafa kit, we're very still thinking about these things, aren't we?
This is the first time we're ever going to do a podcast where we remember what we said last episode. Ever.
It hasn't yet been deleted.
That's what genius feels like.
I remember everything.
Like it was yesterday.
Well, it's the jersey's clearly not that bad anyway because he's decided he's going to keep it. But it has got me thinking, why don't we have a think and list some of our worst cycling purchases ever?
Yes, let's. I realised this is a bit of a follow-on from a video Francis did once, which performed very well. And me looking for titles for this week's show when we don't have news, I thought, oh, let's do another one of those.
Wait, but the script says it's my idea, not your idea.
Oh, yeah, true. Yes, the script does say...
Fourth wall break, goddamn!
Whose idea actually was it?
It's always Emily's.
Oh, well, I get it. My video is probably her idea in the first place.
So many fourth wall breaks. Okay, shall I start? So the first one is a soft bag for transporting your bike.
Oh Jesus! This was in my list as well.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So I borrowed a Ski-On. Is it
Chicon?
Chicon bag from our mate Chris Hall, 10 years ago or something or other, to go on a trip to France. And I had my lovely, or it was a horrible colour, but a lovely Specialized Alley Sprint, all tricked out. It was fantastic. Flew it out to France, had a lovely time in France, flew it back, and then when I unwrapped it on the other side, there was dents all over it, and it was a write-off. And I blame the bag because they're soft. They don't protect the bike pretty much at all, and they're awkward enough that they're going to get thrown around. Never will I ever use a soft bag ever again unless I'm actively looking to make an insurance claim, which is not something I would do.
This is not exclusive to Chicon. It's all soft bags.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we must mention that.
I've said it for ages. I would rather use a cardboard box.
Because they know where the handles are.
Exactly.
And they go, ooh, the one with the TV on the side. That's what you want.
You just draw one on.
What I did was break 2 bikes in one trip. One Evoc bag and one Chicon bag. And ever since then, well, for the first month or so after that, I still had to do some traveling. So what I did was absolutely fill. You know when you put a fan under your shirt, and it's really funny, I always laugh. It was that. It was just as fat as it could possibly get, full of bubble wrap around the bike. So you could not damage that bike even if you tried. So if you've got a bike, soft bike bag, and you are going to travel with it and now you're scared, at least wrap it with all the bubble wrap in the world.
Yeah. Or
it
just
might be okay.
Get bike insurance, because it actually worked out really well for you, Jimmy. You had a bike in a colourway you weren't too fond of. It wrote off, and then you were able to re-buy the same bike, but in a better colourway.
Yes, but I had to do that a bit dodgy as well, though.
Mm-hmm.
I had to import it from America because it was the colourway that wasn't available in the United Kingdom. And I convinced a bike shop to sell me a bike as an American transaction and then separately ship it to me, which they are not allowed to do based on their contract with Specialized, but they did it ananyway.
Get a bike box Alan or a Buxom or
Alan!
any of Alan. It's not Alan. It's Steve.
Steve.
It's bike box Steve.
Bike box Steve is his nemesis.
Okay, first on my list is Aftershock headphones.
This wasn't on my list, but I agree.
Agree. So I will caveat this with it was an early version of them. I don't know what they're like now. I bought these, get secondhand off our friend Ben.
I don't think we ever paid for them.
Oh, I stole these off our friend Ben.
And they were the worst things you ever stole.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, ha. He knew all along and he was trying to get rid of them. That's what I think. No, I use them for commuting. The idea being that you can then, hear. But I don't know whether they just didn't fit with the helmet or this whole thing about they connect to your bones and then they send the message through. Yeah,
junk.
It's just a speaker that's not in your ear, so it's not very good. It's tinny.
And even worse, it's to be able to hear it through your own ears. It has to be loud enough that everyone else can hear it as well. So you've seen someone on a train with them before?
No.
And just everyone else in the carriage is listening to what they're listening to. So it's just 2 tiny speakers next to your ears that even when you're running, you can't...
I know.
So there's 3 of us here.
Yeah.
And for all of us...
There's 4.
All we've said... our experience of them is that it's just a little speaker next to your ear and therefore you hear it because it's a speaker. Their whole thing about this bone conducting thing, if there's anyone listening to this that has genuinely used Aftershock or bone conducting speaker headphone things and they actually do some kind of conducting thing, can you let me know? Because I am convinced that it's not a thing.
I get people want to use them when they're out riding because you can still hear, but AirPods have that. They have a setting that you can just put them on and then you can hear what's going on.
Transparency.
Not that I would, or just wear one.
Just wear one.
Yeah.
That's not on the car side. I don't know. Do what you want. Do what you feel safe
Yeah, do
with.
what you want.
Don't they have like a version for swimming?
Aftershokz.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What does
they
the
do.
music sound like?
Anyone in the pool can hear it. Right, move on. What we got next?
All base layers. And this is not going to be for everyone. It's just my worst purchases because I decided very quickly that they make you too hot. And they definitely don't make you cooler by wicking away sweat. It's a lie. Sold to you by big like base layer.
So you wouldn't appreciate this because you're a skinny person. But what I can tell you for the majority of the world that are not a skinny bike racer, the reason we wear base layers is because they add confidence. For whatever reason, they just kind of hold you in and neat and tidy and make you feel more compact and sucked in. Even though they definitely do make you a bit warmer, it makes you more confident and comfortable to be wearing very tight lycra.
On that same vein, I think they distribute sweat better because if it's just you next to your jersey, you get sometimes little prickles of sweat, which is fine. We all sweat and we're doing exercise fine. But sometimes it's a bit under booby or it's just like a little bit like random on your stomach. Whereas the base layer catches that and then it doesn't show through to the jersey as much.
They do that, actually. Yeah, that's a really good point. So maybe the idea of wicking isn't moving sweat away, that whole marketing slogan for sweat wicking back in the day. And actually what it does is it just
Captures it in between.
Allows it to spread in a more pleasant way.
Agreed. But also, I will go back to my original statement, is we all sweat and we are doing exercise and we should be allowed to see
Be
sweat.
sweaty.
Yeah.
One reason I would wear them if I was racing because there's something to be said for an extra layer between you and the road when you crash. So potentially it could reduce road rash, but yeah.
Fine.
The most annoying bit is not being able to take it off if you're too hot. Everything else, you can take a gilet off, stuff it in your pocket as you're riding. If you have a little, small jacket, rain cape, you can take that off, stuff it in your pocket when you're riding. Jimmy's got his hand up like he's at school.
Why don't you take your jersey off?
I do. That's the coolest.
No, but you've just got a base layer on, so you just go down to base layer. Yeah.
Well, I can wear one of those Le Col jerseys that's made out of base layer material, and then you get sunburnt all through it.
Yeah.
They ever get in trouble for that?
I don't know.
Are you
With
allowed
who?
to sell it as a jersey if it doesn't actually have to declare, like, you probably wear sun cream underneath?
Well, just because it's clothing doesn't mean it protects you from the sun. So what you should be doing as a consumer is actively looking for stuff that has sun protection.
We used to get people email us and asking us what the sun protection factor of our fabric was. Some people care.
Yeah, it's high but not impenetrable.
Yeah,
Because you get burnt, you get tanned underneath it.
Well, a lot of sports fabric these days will be factor 50.
50 plus, yeah.
Right.
But not if they're mesh, ultimately. Next one.
Giro lace-up shoes. So I actually have a pair of white SPD Giro lace-up shoes with rainbow laces that I absolutely love. I've ridden those shoes more than any other shoe on a bike ever. They were my commuting shoe. I've owned them for 10 years or something or other. I was obsessed with them. I absolutely love them. I hadn't used them for a couple of years, and I've been using some other shoes, most notably winter shoes to keep my toes warm. And I put them on for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I could not believe how incredibly uncomfortable they were now that I've been riding better shoes. Like my feet were literally being crushed by the shoe, and I didn't even register as a thing to me previously. I guess what this point actually is a tribute and a reminder to there are so many things in the bike industry that you just tolerate and you think are normal, but actually then there are often better options out there, but they usually have to spend money to find out, sadly.
Especially with shoes, they're very expensive. I remember Lawrence used to wear the lace-up Giros, but he got so bored of tying them, he just used to put the laces inside, ride with them undone.
Next one is mine. Rollers. So I went to a couple of bike skill sessions by an awesome cycling club called Velociposse, which is based in London. They were amazing. They were in winter. We were inside Lee Valley Velodrome. We were in the middle of the velodrome, all on rollers, sort of facing each other in a circle. upright throwing a ball to each other. So it's all about skills, confident bike handling. Just, it was scary, but I learned a lot of skills and a lot of confidence. However, I got too carried away and I decided I want some for myself. So our friend Chris Hall, he had some that he was selling. So I bought them. Very quickly realised that it was not as fun when you're just doing it on your own, because there is no distraction from the impending doom of falling off. So they just very quickly, I think I did it like twice in our flat, and then I decided I didn't want to do it anymore, and they gathered dust.
I've got 2 points to make. The first one is I hate rollers. And the second one is not all rollers are created equally. For whatever reason, the ones that we had were just really hard to ride. Whereas the Tax ones that we've got here in the studio are rideable. I don't know why.
Because they're concave. It's like an hourglass shape roller, so it pushes you into the middle. And there's always a red pair. I don't know why they're always red. The other brand.
That's what we had.
You had a red pair.
Yeah.
And they're just a roller, a flat roller.
Yeah.
It was
They are
so hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't stay on them at all.
And I wanted to do my no-handed tricks. I was going straight to the end of the, wanting to be good at it rather than
Learning.
It's a shame. Once you crack it, it's such a good tool because, well, it's so cheap in comparison and portable.
Comparison to riding a bike outside.
Comparison to a turbo trainer.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't wear out your tires, and you can do pretty good sessions on it, like training sessions. It's its own thing though, isn't it? It's not like riding a bike in exactly the same way, because there's lots of people who are great bike handlers. If they've never ridden rollers before, it takes them a minute to get used to it. It's a very odd feeling.
Yeah, I was mainly just being influenced by those 11-year-old girls who seem to be on Instagram.
Oh, yes.
They
Put a tie around it.
Yeah. I want to be that when I grow up.
You can still do it, Emily. We've got a pair here somewhere. Right, my next one is, is this my fault? No, it's not my fault. Maybe it is my fault. The Ram Airfaring Inflatable Aero Backpack.
Wait,
That was a Kickstarter.
what happened to that?
Yeah, well, it's not here, is it? Well, okay, first, nothing happened for ages, so I investigated, and it was because I hadn't... And Aero Coach got their one, and they ordered it about the same time, and then I realised I hadn't put the address in the website, which you had to do later.
What, at all?
You ordered it, and then later on they were like, make sure you put your address in.
Oh, okay.
In an email that I didn't see.
Yeah.
I found that, put my address in, and since then, nothing has happened. But the website has now disappeared, so maybe we've been scammed.
Yeah, I think what happened is, you didn't see that email. And then by the time you saw that email, the website already didn't exist by then. So it was a short-lived endeavour, I feel, for poor Ram Airfaring.
You mean poor us?
Yeah, but as you say, Aero Coach did get theirs. So I don't think it was I don't think they were setting out to scam people. I
Have
think
they released the testing yet? I want the data.
Yeah, this was the thing that we saw a Kickstarter of on the podcast back, I don't know, 20 episodes ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And we decided to buy one for the lols, and we thought we'd do a fun video on it, but no.
Well, it's very easy to make our own. We just get a big black bag and just stick it on our backs.
It's true.
So it's not specific to the brand, but what I bought was a Planet X time trial bike. And it's actually what I'm putting into the list of worst purchases is a time trial bike. I think I probably used it in total about 40 times. And I would say most of that was training and maybe probably five races, a couple of triathlons, and then a couple of time trials.
You were actually training on it. That's more than most people do.
Well, I had to, otherwise I would crash.
It's like World Tour pros jump on their TT bikes. Well, not anymore. They're a bit more science-based, but it used to be like, would jump on it on race day. Does that look all right? Whee.
That must have been a long time ago, because most of them do loads of training
Now
rides
they
on
do.
TT bikes. I do like a TT position, but I was always trying to get it super, super narrow, because obviously it's more aero. But then you realize how unstable a TT bike becomes when you start bringing your hands closer and closer together. Like, I have such an appreciation for the positions that the pros ride in, because they are properly unstable. In hindsight, I should never have bought it, even though I liked having it. and I should have just got a super, super fast aero road bike. So I ultimately had a custom-made steel race bike and a fully carbon, massive tubular-tired TT bike. And of any of the races that I've won that involved a bike, I always won on a steel road bike instead of a super fast time trial bike. Waste of money.
My next one is expensive steel cycling water bottles.
I thought you really liked them, don't you?
I do really like them, but this category is worst cycling products. I made you buy me these. I love them, but I have never wanted to use them on a bike, and I don't think I'm ever going to. So I have a thing about every quarter I need to buy myself a new interesting drinking vessel because I find it hard to drink enough liquids every day. I'm usually quite dehydrated, and I just hate the feeling of drinking. I know that sounds really weird. I don't like the sensation of drinking. If I try to drink like gulps and gulps, it makes me kind of gag. So I try to buy fun things to make drinking interesting.
Have you ever noticed how, like, pay attention to how Emily drinks every now and again? It's like...
She makes a funny noise sometimes, I've noticed.
Do
like
I?
a squeak noise.
I think you've said
You'd be
that.
like...
So that's kind of the reason I wanted them. They're really good in... It's steel. So it's like it keeps the water cool. If you put hot stuff in, it keeps the water hot.
Are they not titanium? Because they were astronomically expensive.
Now, I've Googled it. It's the Camelback podium ones.
Ah, okay.
The steel ones.
There was an option for titanium, but that was like 70 quid a bottle or something.
Yeah,
rather.
but these ones were also expensive.
Do we have to stop using plastic bottles now because of microplastics? I'm guessing yes.
I don't know.
Especially if we put hot things in them.
Yeah, don't put hot things in them.
Yeah.
I don't think they're meant for that.
Well, I don't put hot things in, but there's probably still a little bit of microplastics.
But I do opt for the much lighter microplastic ones for my bike. I just don't like the idea of too much metal on my bike. It screams heavy to me, and as you know, I don't like a heavy bike.
It's so funny how extreme you are as a weight weenie.
I know I am. Next week I'm going to saw off my drop bars.
If you don't use them.
Fabulous, fabulous bottles. Thank you so much for the purchase, Jimmy. But bad cycling purchase.
I can't remember where I was. I've definitely done a ride with one of the bottles, and I was getting complaints from the people around me because they were just like rattling around and making loads of noises.
They do.
Oh, this is a good one. Race and event entries. And the reason I'm putting this in the sea, I'm assuming all of these is just us putting stuff in the sea.
Yeah.
Is the amount of times that I, with good intentions, signed up to a race or an event that, like 6 months in advance, that when it got to it, either I had done zero preparation and I just went, it's not worth doing, or I was fit, but I just wasn't in a position that I could do it because of work or whatever getting in the way. So I've probably entered more races that I DNS'd on, did not start, than I did start.
This is good. You're supporting grassroots racing.
There is that, I suppose.
Yeah, I would agree. I went through a phase of, I need to motivate myself. Let me sign up for a sportive in spring. And then it comes around and I'm like, do you know what? You just take the day off, Emily. I'll get,
It's annoying when the past you has signed up for something for the present you.
Yeah.
That guy.
Exactly. You don't like being backed into a corner. I'm like, no.
Just like said yes to going to see friends. It's on the day or nothing at all.
I do very much agree with that. I don't like making plans.
Because mood changes.
Exactly. It's like Emily will just be like, do you want to do this thing next week? I'm like,
Don't know until next week. How are you supposed to know?
He's the worst for this, though. He does this with holidays as well. And then so you have to book a last-minute holiday, try to find somewhere you want to go that's not incredibly expensive. It's hard. And then he goes, it's so stressful booking holidays. Yeah, because you leave it to the last minute and there's not any options.
Well, even when you don't leave it to the last minute, it's all the planning that annoys me. Legitimately, I would rather it be like, right, okay, we're going on holiday. Go to the airport with a bag and be like, right, let's pick something. And then you get there and you go, right, where are we going to stay? Well, let's find something. Where are we going to go for food?
Restaurant.
Doesn't like that.
No. My next one is very quickly, prescription cycling glasses inserts. some brands do just prescription glasses. They're a great idea if your prescription doesn't change a lot. Mine does. So I thought, well, maybe I'll go in the middle and get an insert slightly cheaper. I've tried 2 different ones from 2 different brands. They don't work for me. I don't know whether I've just chosen badly. They don't work for me. You put them on and it's like a house of mirrors, like everything's wobbling about and feel sick. Couldn't even get through one ride with them. Crap.
I'm glad you, because I was going to say, what do you mean they don't work for you?
They've got like a weird sort of concave shape. I don't know. I can't see properly with them.
Have you thought about LASIK?
LASIK.
LASIK or LASIK. There's 2 different types. Laser eye surgery.
Yeah, what if it goes wrong though? I'm scared.
It's a very, very low chance of it going wrong.
Yeah, but what if it does?
Yeah.
Better the devil you know.
You could have a whole life of not being able to see properly, which is already the situation you're in.
But no fix.
Yeah, but no, there's no fix.
You could have a life of not being able to see.
That's true.
Yeah. Or other, like, I don't know, watery eyes, hurty eyes or something. Just contact. That's what I do.
Does it work for riding? Or do they get like dry or something?
No, if you have proper cycling glasses on, it doesn't work as well with like normal sunglasses as they go underneath, but a proper cycling sunglasses where it like the wind doesn't go in your eye, it's fine, I think. Right, you got one more, haven't you, Jimmy?
Cheap mud guards. And I don't think cheap is maybe fair. Mud guards that are bad quality.
Don't fit?
Yes. Generic mud guard sets are any that I've bought in the past have been impossible to fit, and I've tried fitting them and I failed, and I've ended up just binning them shortly after trying to fit them. However, I do love mud guards, and there is one brand I have fit 2 sets of, and both times it has been super easy and they are super amazing. And it's not even about this brand, so I'm not even going to name the brand.
No, go on, do, because people will be going, oh, well, I don't want to waste my money on bad ones.
Yeah, but they're really expensive though.
Oh, just name them.
Portland Design Works. They're metal fenders. You have to import them from America. They're Condor in the UK sell them. It's about 130 quid for a set of mud guards, and they are absolutely class. They just always work because they're metal. They're super solid. They don't wiggle around and bounce off of stuff. They're absolutely class, and they're the only mud guard / fenders I've ever bought and fit myself that have actually worked.
Fine, we'll do with that what you will, listeners.
Should we run through some of mine quickly?
Go on then.
There's an in-depth video on all of these. I'm just going to go through them one by one, very quick. Solid tyres, because it sounds like a great idea and it's obviously horrible. Speed plays. I did not need that much adjustability from a pedal, and they develop lateral rock very quickly, which some people react to really badly, and I ended up with pain in my legs and knees. AliExpress fake saddles. They are not all created equal. The AliExpress one peeled away, and then we managed to snap it with not much effort at all. Evoque bike bag, because it's a soft bag, destroyed a bike. Physique Arione saddle is just a straight plank of wood that you sit on.
Potato on a stick.
Fixed cleats, which were really popular because it feels like your pedals get like fixed. There's no float in them at all. In Shimano pedals, that would be a red cleat. Look, it's black. Both of those are fixed. Some people use them on the track, but in most cases, it's going to cause you knee pain. Rotor Power Generation 1. The first power meter that Rotor released. The new one's probably fantastic. The old one was the first iteration. And when you're buying a new product, that is the first iteration. Often, they don't work very well.
As we said last week.
A random number generator. Yeah, as we said last week. Shit bike hangers. I don't know what this means. Oh, the things to hang up bikes. Bought them from, they were called Jobsworth bike hangers from planetx.com.
You're a Jobsworth.
Yeah, it was. They are Jobsworth. And you hang up the bike, but they don't, you need 2 hands to do it. They're just a pain in the ass. Trust me. Velo toes, rip them straight away. Continental Gator hard shells. Life's too short to ride tyres that are that hard. I'd rather fix bunches by the side of the road. Fake sunglasses, smashed into oblivion and go into little shards of spiky plastic that can stab you in the eyes. Stan's dart, you poke it in to fix your tubeless holes, and then the end just comes off. And then luckily there's another end which does exactly the same thing, and then you just end up putting a tube in. One-wheel bike trailer from Burley, anything more than like a small Bella size worth of weight, and it is impossible to control the bike, and it feels horrible, and you end up crashing into a ditch. Invisible bike stands, lost them all. Bike bungee, just use an inner tube.
Some of them are pretty niche, to be fair, aren't they? But it's all good information. Thank you for that, Francis.
No problem. Time for Fluff Up of the Week.
What's happened, Jimmy?
I've started an update, and it says, do not unplug your trainer. But it's not even plugged in. So I have to keep pedaling now, otherwise the firmware update will just be stuck in limbo for eternity.
Right, Jimmy was setting up the Garmin Alpine. Wait, how do we explain this?
Do you want me to do it, Francis? Shall I explain it?
Yes, you should explain it. It was you.
So you can actually see it over Francis's shoulder, the little pokey bit sticking up. It's their new bit of kit that raises and lowers the front of the bike. So he set up Tax Neo 2T and the Alpine, put a bike on it. I was then sitting on it, turning my legs over, connecting it to a Tax ridey thing on an iPad. Connected the Alpine. Yep, cool. Connected the Tax 2T. It then said, you've got to do a software update. I was like, all right, okay, start the software update. And it says, do not disconnect from power source. As I'm just spinning away lightly, I'm like, oh, this isn't actually plugged in.
You are the power source.
I was the power source because you can run that. They've got some of their units that basically when you're pedaling, it's powered.
So we were supposed to be setting up the room for the event. And then it was just me setting up the room for the event because Jimmy was stuck.
I was spinning away. Thankfully, it deactivated the motor, so it was super easy, so I didn't have to do any effort. But I think I was spinning away for probably about 10 minutes whilst it downloaded and then installed the update. But I was essentially trapped. I was too scared as well to stop because I was like, well, if I stop and it fails somewhere in between, I was like, well, we need this turbo for the event we're about to host. And it all turned out in the end. I just did more riding than I intended to do that day.
It was very funny. I was laughing at him a lot.
And you just left.
Today's episode of the Wild Ones podcast is supported by Garmin.
I've actually been using Garmin bike computers and watches for well over a decade now.
Yeah, me too.
I actually bought my first one in 2012. It was the Forerunner 410, and I was training for my very first triathlon at the time.
And how did that go, Jimmy?
Well, it would have gone great if I hadn't accidentally miscounted my bike laps and got myself DQ'd for doing one short.
Rookie error. You should have used the laps function.
I know. But my point is, Garmin's have been part of our lives for a long time now. So it was a bit of a full circle moment when they came on board to support the channel.
And they don't just make watches and head units with bike-specific GPS mapping and performance monitoring.
Nope. They also make power meters, heart rate monitors, smart bike lights that capture video and alert you when cars are approaching, Tax indoor trainers, and so much more.
So thank you to Garmin for supporting this podcast.
Time for some unpopular opinions. We're going to read out some cycling hot takes. We'll debate them and decide if we agree or disagree. The first one is from Riff in Belgium. Unpopular opinion. Extremely long rides are the best. And by that, I mean 200k or more. They help me feel strong again after my depression and continue to be my favourite days of the year. I feel like the focus for recreational riders is too much on speed when it should be on fun and time spent on the bike. The best way to experience that? Long rides. I once did a self-supported ultra ride all the way to Scheldt. From the source to the mouth. 382 kilometres in one day. It was the best day of my life so far. So simple, just pedal, eat, and take toilet breaks. Okay, physically not the easiest, but mentally it was pure joy. Some of that definitely I agree with, which is it should be on fun, and that's it.
Yeah, ride in a way that makes you happy. And if it doesn't make you happy, question why you are doing it. The source of Mr. Motivator. No, Mr. Demotivator. I love that this works for him. However, I do have some challenges to the sentiment of long rides. I think that people covet long rides because they are epic and they feel significant. But quite often when you finish something that significant, there are repercussions, whether they be food-related, undercarriage related, gut-related, pain, discomfort. It's a lot of it's destructive to your body in many ways. I am a big believer of ride often, don't ride massive, but that's what works for me. That's what makes me happy. I do not enjoy riding really, really long days. If I was going to do a 200k ride, I am certain I would despise it and I would get nothing from it that I enjoy. But that's me, you know. That doesn't mean that's the correct way. There's different ways for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. I've definitely been what's the word? I felt a bit formal from not being a person who enjoys riding long. Same with, I get a bit of FOMO. I wish I liked bike packing, the type where you just like set up camp on the floor, do it. Done it a couple of times. I hate it.
Same.
I just want to be in a bed. Like, why would I choose to sleep on the floor?
This is literally
with the horrible sweaty flies and stuff. Not sleep all night when I could just be in my bed.
My minimum requirements for a bike packing trip are
hotel,
bed, hot tub, restaurant.
At the end of a ride, it's the best thing. This is what we do our rides. Like, we just tour through Thailand. The best thing is not finishing in the dark and having a few hours, have a beer, maybe not a beer if you don't drink, have some food, hang out with your mates, talk to the locals. Like, all of that stuff is so good. Having long enough at lunch where we're like, let's just stop for 2 hours at this gas station, and then you end up chatting to like some motorbikers who come through or the local people, and they're like, what are you doing? And we're doing this. And then you end up like, oh, should we actually just have a rest day here because it's kind of a vibe? That's the best.
And you don't end up in a really bad mood because you haven't slept very well.
Nah, we've had that on 100k days, and we've had that on 50k days, and we've had it on 200k days, but then you're a bit stressed and you feel a bit pressured the whole day. So occasionally, yeah, it's great, but I wouldn't exclusively put the fun down to it having to be a long ride. It's just, as long as it feels like an adventure, I think it's good.
But and just to make it clear, for some people that does work. We know people that really, really get a lot of satisfaction out of long stuff. Couple of people that jump to mind are Amy Cycling Adventures. She thrives in riding long. Our mate Josh Reed, the adventure cyclist, he absolutely loves bike packing and doing long distance stuff and really gets satisfaction out of it. So, you know, it's horses for courses, isn't it?
Some people just don't have... I don't have an issue with if I ride 200, 250k, I haven't got problems with pain or food-related things or anything like that. Like, I'm lucky.
Yep.
But it's... I kind of get a bit bored. Is that fair? Like,
yeah.
I like doing other stuff. I like the experience when you're traveling with a bike, at least if it was like a touring trip or a bike packing trip. It's all the time off the bike. And those things I remember more than on the bike, really.
To be clear with his point, though, he's not talking about bike packing at all. We've talked about bike packing. He's just he's talking about doing the occasional long ride just as a course, you know, like basically just on a weekend going, okay, in 2 weekends time, I'm going to do a 200k ride just because.
Yeah.
So it's a very different thing because you haven't got the pressure of bike packing, carrying loads of stuff, and it'll probably be on roads that you know. If I am riding long, it is always going to be in that environment where I'm, you know, doing a 9-hour, like probably the last long riding I did, and it wasn't even that long, was when we rode to Scotland about 3 years ago. And that was from my front door, or at least my old office, into Scotland, and we rode casually, and it was about 9 hours. And then we rode a similar but slightly shorter distance on the way back. And it was crap. It wasn't. It was good fun.
The key is it fun or is it a chore? And sometimes things become a chore and people don't realize they have. And then they're like, oh, hang on a minute. Sometimes you just need to zoom out and go, do I need to be doing this? Or could I just do it over 2 days?
I think this is an opportunity to remind people that you shouldn't put pressure on your mates to do something that they don't want to do. Because there has been numerous points where I've been around lots of people that do very significant things, and some things work for me and some things don't work for me. And, you know, likewise, ultimately everything doesn't align. So if one of your friends says, I don't want to do that, let them not do it. Mm-hmm. God, I really am Mr. Demotivator, aren't I?
You are today, especially.
Yeah, it is. It's Phil Gaiman, suffering is a choice. However, I am very in awe of people who can do awesome stuff.
What's his thing?
Suffering is a choice.
What, Phil Gaiman said that?
Yeah, he put it up on his Instagram once. I don't know if he was the original source of it, but that's what I saw.
It's like Francis sitting there going like, no, I think that was God that said
Gandhi.
that.
As Phil Guyman's Instagram caption said once, suffering's a choice. But for some people, it's not suffering. For some people, I love it. I'm very happy for you, Riff, that you enjoyed your long ride. Long may it continue.
Is that Leo Wilcox's whole thing? She's like, suffering is it? Cycling isn't suffering because it's a choice.
That doesn't.
It's not real suffering. Any bike ride is not actually suffering because you're not like you're forced to do it.
So Phil Guyman, I've just had a look on his website, has the new rules of cycling, aka
Philomenati.
Yeah. And number 10 is suffering is a choice, not a rule. You're no more of a cyclist than someone else because you go faster, or they stay at home when it's raining, or they do 300k rides and you just like to pool to the coffee shop. Either's fine. Either is good.
Oh, can you send me a link to that? Actually, I need to look at these.
Yeah.
Next up, we have an unpopular cycling opinion from Thomas, who says group rides with friends are overrated. Too much hassle matching up those calendars. Too much difference in fitness, skills, and goals. I prefer heading out alone.
It's the same sort of thing as the last one, isn't it? Is that some people like riding on their own, some people hate riding on their own. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I find that I do most of my riding with people. I'll rephrase that. I find that the riding I do with people is generally the same very small collection of people. I ride with Nick Vieri. I now ride with Benny. I ride with Emily occasionally. I basically never ride with you unless it's work. We do ride bikes
but I
quite
enjoy
a bit,
the
but it's
work.
always
I
work.
enjoy the rides that we do.
Yeah, but it's not like a proper ride, is it? It's like I've
very
started,
stop-start.
I've started riding with Benny quite a bit, where we just meet up and commute in, and it's the riding that we used to do all of the time, which was when you were like, "Oh, I've got to make a vlog. I suppose I should go and ride my bike," and I'd be like, "Yeah, well, I'm commuting." And you're like, "Yeah, just jump in on that." I just like commuting, and the handful of people I ride with, it's different style of riding with those people, but it's just enjoyable. I don't have a desire to go and ride with like a big club ride or anything like that. I think ultimately what I'm getting at is there's different types of riding with different types of people. I love riding on my own, and if that is what Thomas likes doing, then that's absolutely fine.
I need to be distracted from the effort. Francis, we have started doing a run club since you've been living with us for the last month.
Yeah.
Francis said, "Oh, I run every day now." I was like, "Well, I'm going to run every day then as well." Every other day. So we started doing a 5K every other day. And for me, it's been easy because we just talk the whole time and I'm completely distracted from the effort. And that's how I like my exercise. It's why I always used to play team sports. You're distracted from the effort by the competitiveness of the game. And I'm distracted by the effort of cycling when I'm talking to someone. Same with running. I don't actually like exercise, is what I'm saying.
I think I'm quite in my own head when I'm on my own on the bike.
In a bad way, good way.
No, I'm just like, oh, how long have we got to go? Or where does this road go? And then I kind of just wish the ride away in
Agreed.
a strange way. And I'm not sure why, because I do really like riding on my own. But then I do crave, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I like bumped into someone right now? They're just too social. I really like riding with other people. I think even if I go out riding on my own and there's I bump into someone, I'm like, oh, I'll change my route just to ride with this person.
But would you, so you've got three choices.
Ooh.
Rank these three choices.
Okay.
3-hour ride on your own. 3-hour ride with one person. 3-hour ride with 9 other people.
3-hour ride with one person.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the same for me.
Yep.
Well, 9 definitely tips over into we're stopping and waiting for punches. It's around that number.
One's the sweet spot. But ideally, that one changes every hour to a different one if selected. So you run out of chat, so you just move on to someone else.
Entertain me.
Yes. Yeah. Tag team.
If you're working on fitness and goals and all of that kind of stuff, then it's definitely going to be more effective, probably, if you're on your own.
That's what Turbo's for.
And past that, it's the bell curve. Next up, Edo says, hello all. I know this is an insane statement and I'm probably cursing myself, but here I go. It's impossible to get flats. Over the years, I've ridden tens of thousands of kilometers on road, gravel, mountain bikes. I take good care of my bikes, but definitely not kind to them while I'm out riding. I've damaged frames and wheels, I've snapped off derailleurs, and I've done plenty of other damage to my bikes. Tubes or tubeless, expensive or cheap tyres, it doesn't matter. I've never had a flat. Therefore, my only conclusion can be that it's impossible to get flats, and people that do get them are getting them intentionally. That's it. Thank you for making all of your lovely content. Ido from the Netherlands. P.S. I'll happily update you when I inevitably get a flat after sending this email. That is true. He is just, in the words of Madame Zeroni, he and his family are cursed for ever and eternity.
Until he carries you up a mountain.
Until he cycles me up a mountain.
I don't get very many flats. And there was a point where I think I did 3 or 4 years where I got none at all. And that was when I was riding at my absolute most, including doing about 18 months exclusively on tubs.
I remember your stint of no punches.
Mm-hmm. And then it got broken on a ride in Surrey with Giro, and Nibs was there. Our mate Nibs.
He fixed it for you.
Yeah. He wouldn't even let
No, he won't let you.
He wouldn't let me do it myself. And then he's just like, oh God, like almost a little bit like whingy, but he won't let you touch it. But he's also very good at doing stuff. He's the first person I ever saw take a tire off of a wheel without a lever. He literally just went whoop, and I was like, whoa, yeah, you can do this, all yours, mate. And then I think I got about 4 in a row, and then I think since we've been in the Northeast, I think I've maybe had 2. One of them was a tubeless failure. No, do you know what? I think it's only I've had one tubeless failure in the Northeast. I haven't had any other punctures.
I get every bike that I test, whether I'm here or in America, I get a puncture straight away. Brand new tires, like out of the box. I go for a ride.
Sounds like you and your family are cursed for all of eternity.
Yeah, I am. Of tubeless jizz that won't come off. My Villiers bike, I'm not riding at the moment because it's so covered in sealant and it won't come off.
I thought that was the paint job.
Yeah, no, it's just, the special jizz edition.
Yeah.
You're both looking at me. Do you want me to say something about...
What was...
Yes, just save us.
What were we talking about? You don't get many punctures, do you?
No, my last one, I don't want to talk about it. And no, bad juju, go away. Not talking about it.
Do you have any unpopular cycling opinions? Send them in to wildonespodcast@cademedia.co.uk and you might feature on a future episode.
Thank you for everyone who sent them for this episode. We have some more. We'll do them in the next editions. Don't forget you can also send us your questions and comments for Listeners Takeover, like this one from someone who calls himself PPD, who says, hello, Grumpy, Dopey and Doc.
Oh, Jesus.
Who's who?
Quite obvious who's who.
Grumpy, Jimmy.
You're Doc.
Oh, he's called you Dopey.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'm planning to buy my first carbon bike.
I feel like we should not do this guy's question for mugging me and Francis off. Go on, do it. I'm only joking. We don't actually care.
He says, I'm planning to buy my first carbon bike and I almost settled on a Cannondale Super 6 105, but I found a local brand offering a very similar bike for 15% less. The components are more or less the same and the frame and fork are most certainly from an OEM in China. I know you guys have ridden numerous bikes, so you're probably in the best position to answer this. Do different carbon frames really feel that much different? And is that difference, if any, enough to justify a 15% price increase? Big brands are always marketing their frames as more aero, stiff, lighter, faster, but I don't know how all of that translates into the real world.
Well, I would argue that a 15% price increase is an insignificant increase to ensure appropriate R&D and warranty.
Yeah, so we've talked about this slightly in the past. Essentially, if carbon fails, it fails catastrophically. We've spoken to carbon repair experts before who have said that their view is that the best place to buy carbon is from a big name brand, as ultimately you know that their R&D and QC is good. Doesn't mean this, just because something's coming from China, just because something's OEM, doesn't mean it's bad.
Correct.
I think what you have to do is research, see, how well known is the brand? Are there reviews? Speak to them, question them about their quality control, ask about their safety testing standards, and make a decision based on that. What's their post-sale care like? As we've talked about in previous episodes, at some point, most things do go wrong. It's about how brands respond. So I would read reviews, that kind of thing. And if it doesn't exist, it doesn't mean it's bad, but it's more of a question mark.
I think people sometimes don't think of buying products in the same way that we do, because we're always looking at how things might impact people and consumers, you guys and us actually buying stuff. But essentially, either legislation of the country that you live in and or certain standards of brand operations are risk assessments that are essentially approving or not approving if something is appropriate for you to use. So how I look at it is, if I buy something from a big brand, the likelihood is that appropriate risk assessment has been made so that I'm most likely not going to have something that has problems or is unsafe or there's issues. And if there were any, then they would either address them, maybe, hopefully, or replace them, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. And again, I just want to reiterate, we're not saying all stuff from China, all OEM stuff is bad. We don't even know the brand he's talking about here. What we're saying is it's something to consider with carbon.
Yeah, there's loads of Chinese brands that are absolutely fantastic. Most of the carbon bike stuff we're getting our hands on anyway is from China. And it's all about, has it been made to a certain standard? And what we rely on is that brands are doing that appropriate checks for us, because it's a specialist skill that obviously individuals don't have.
Yeah, and are they checking multiple products in their batches, because that's what quality control is. You might make something and the prototype is perfect, but how much deviation is that within the production line? We've had bike shop mechanic Nick on before, and he has said that one of his unpopular opinions is that people pay too much attention to the components and not enough to the frame. He dislikes stuff like that Boardman bike, which is basically like you're getting the frame for free based on the price of the components. He says, in what world would you want to pay that much for your componentry and then have a frame which is so cheap that it could essentially be free? Like, in what world does that marry up? You're better having something that is all right. You could get something that was all around better by lowering the standard of your componentry and raising the standard of your frame, in his opinion. However, there might be some bias there. He does sell bikes, but also, he's selling what he backs as well, I guess.
That one's a bit of a weird situation, because the frame it's almost worth just buying it, taking the components off, putting them on something else. It's free.
That's so crazy though. Like, bonkers. How wasteful is that?
Very wasteful. But all in all, it's not a bad frame. The finishing wasn't great, but riding it feels good. His question here was, do different carbon frames really feel that different during rides? A lot of we've had bikes from Chinese brands and from Western brands made in different locations that all ride very, very different. And a lot of it's the tube profiles and geometry. How can you compare? Again, we need to see the bike. What I can tell you is a Cannondale Super 6 rides really well. So it's a safe option to recommend that.
Yep.
Despite it being a little bit more. But again, 15% isn't, for a named brand, there's going to be some warranty there. There's going to be aftercare. The other one, we're not sure. There might be, but we don't know.
Did we answer his question?
Well, his questions were actually, do different carbon frames really feel that much different during rides? The answer is yes.
The simple answer is geometry is king.
Weight distribution is king, which is influenced by the geometry of the bike. Then comes into like practical choices, like, is it going to blow around in the wind?
Yeah.
I'm reviewing something at the moment, which is, it's like probably quite fast and aero, but geez, riding it around a corner, you're fighting it the whole time. Do you want that?
I personally see no difference between like grade of carbon. There's the premium bikes are a higher grade of carbon. I don't think you would tell the difference between that and a lower grade. Or if you did, it's like Princess and the Pea stuff.
I feel like we're rambling on this one.
Well, keep rambling. No, it's fine. You've done enough rambling because we are right on the timing that we wanted to hit for this episode. So good rambling, guys.
No worries.
Let's finish up.
There will be no podcast next week, but normal service will resume the week after.
Correct.
So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the next episode.
Bye.
Goodbye. Ciao, Bella.
Get the Cannondale.